Welcome to a new quarter and a new course of study here at Fruitland Baptist Bible College. Hello, my name is Steve Gouge. I will have the privilege of being with you for the next 10 weeks to guide your study as we study Supervised Ministry 302. I've been praying for you, and I will continue to do so throughout the course of this quarter. We'll be studying some information that I hope will help you be a more effective minister. Here at Fruitland, we want our courses to be practical and have application to the ministry God has called you to serve in. And so, this course will be no different. Every student deserves to know who is teaching them. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Steve Gouge. I grew up in a small community in Spruce Pine, North Carolina, and I graduated from high school from Spruce Pine, and then went on to Western Carolina University, where I earned 2 degrees. One degree was in psychology and the other was in social science. I continued my education after marrying my wife Wanda at Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary, where again I earned 2 degrees, a Master of Divinity and a Master of Arts in Religious Education. My next degree came from Southern Baptist Theological Seminary in Louisville, Kentucky, where I earned the Doctor of Ministry degree. I'm married to Wanda, and we've been married for 45 years, and what a blessing it is to have her as my helpmeet. She indeed is my joy, and she provides inspiration and encouragement to me all along the way. I have 2 daughters. One lives in Taylorsville, Kentucky. The other daughter lives in Frankfort, Kentucky. Recently, I moved to the state of Kentucky to live in Taylorsville, close to my daughters and my 6 grandchildren. 3 of my grandchildren live here in Taylorsville, and the other 3 live in Frankfort, and I have a wonderful time being with them. I serve as a church consultant, a church coach, and I am also an interim pastor, serving the Lord there. For the last several years, I've had the privilege of teaching courses both online and on campus for Fruitland Baptist Bible College. And it's been a joy to be able to get to know people like you. In this online class, we will need to create community, and I hope that you'll help me to do that by participating in the forums and the discussion times, reacting to your peers as they evaluate some of the work that you do. I came to know the Lord when I was 8 years old, and I certainly have never regretted that commitment. He called me into ministry when I was a sophomore in college, and my life has been one of serving Him ever since. I've been a pastor for 37 years. I've served some wonderful churches and had some wonderful people to be associated with. I also have been a director of missions. I served with the Brushy Mountain Baptist Association in Wilkesboro, North Carolina, for over 5 years and enjoyed that immensely. And now we live here in Kentucky, continuing to minister for the Lord. Now, I would like to encourage you to take your class syllabus. I hope that you've printed it off by now. If you haven't, before you watch the next slide, I want to encourage you to print off your syllabus so that you can follow along as I share with you what will be required during this quarter of study. With your syllabus in hand, let's take a journey through this document to see what will be required of you in this class. First, I want to talk about the textbooks. The first textbook you will be required to read is written by Dr. Os Guinness. It's entitled The Call, Finding and Fulfilling the Central Purpose of Your Life. I think you will find it an excellent read. And then Donald S. Whitney has written Spiritual Disciplines for the Christian Life. In Class 301, we looked at the first part of this book, and now we will complete it in 302. In addition to this, there's a biblical disc report, personality style, that I would like to ask you to purchase and to take. It's an assessment that will help you to understand your style of leadership and your personality a little better. There is a cost of $28 for this online personality style inventory. If the cost is prohibitive for you, then simply call me and we will make arrangements to assist. You will find a link to this biblical disc report on page number 2 of your syllabus. Now if you will look on page 3 of your syllabus, you will notice Internet and Video Resources. I've provided links to help you access the material that you will need for each lesson. Simply go to the week corresponding to the assignment due date on Moodle and click on that assignment. Also, there are opportunities for you to interact with me, and I would love to have one-on-one conversations with you. We could use the free technology that's provided by Skype or FaceTime, or even use the old-fashioned method, that is the telephone. So feel free to contact me if you would like to schedule a time of interaction. This will be available to you upon request. Now let's spend the majority of our time talking about class requirements and assignments. This is a course that potentially advances the student to the honor of earning an associate's degree. Therefore, the course requirements reflect what a serious student should expect. Now, I mentioned earlier about your textbook readings. You certainly will want to follow the schedule of weekly readings assigned to you that you can find on page number 11 of your syllabus. This will help you keep up with your reading. Now, notice when the task is assigned, that is, on the first week you will read Whitney, chapters 6, 7, and 8. That means you will complete that task on week 1. The assignment is to read and complete those chapters on that week. Failure to read thoroughly all assigned materials will result in a reduction of one's grades. Now, exams. There will be no major tests in this course unless otherwise announced. If exams or quizzes are warranted based upon substandard student work, they will be open book, notes, and Bible. However, there will be a time limit. I hope that we will not need any testing, major tests, or even quizzes for this quarter, but you will determine that based upon the kind of work that you submit to me. Case study discussion forums. Students will be permitted to choose the week they will be responsible for posting a case study discussion forum. Go to Moodle's home page and sign up for the week that you choose, but please do that on the first week of class. One case study will be required during the quarter. Each original case study will be read and evaluated by all students. Feedback will be provided from classmates by posting a reply to the original post on Moodle. A reply to the following 3 statements will help the student be able to evaluate their ministry, and those 3 questions are: here's my understanding of the case. Number 2, here's what I am thinking about the case. And then number 3, here's what I am suggesting you consider for next time. The original post on Moodle is due on Wednesday by 11:55 p.m. of assignment week, and replies to the case study are to be posted by Saturday at 11:55 p.m. of the same week. Details for this assignment can be obtained by clicking the link associated with Week 2 entitled Case Studies and Ministry Logs. You will also be able to see in Appendix number 4 the instructions on how to format your case study. Meticulously follow this outline and you will earn an excellent grade. And then you'll notice E on page number 4, suggestions concerning a field supervisor and placement site. You'll want to select your place of ministry and your field supervisor early on in the quarter. And as a matter of fact, I would like to ask you to let me know your field supervisor and placement no later than the second week of this quarter. And also, I would like for your field supervisor to personally contact me either by email or by telephone. Be sure your field supervisor has a copy of the course syllabus and the document entitled Handbook for the Field Supervisor. It's located on the course page of Moodle, and you'll want to print it in color and provide it for your field supervisor. Now F is Interactive PowerPoint Lectures, Videos, and Activities. Interactive PowerPoint lectures, videos, activities, and articles are designed to make the learning atmosphere more dynamic. On most weeks, students will watch one or more brief PowerPoint lectures, or in some cases, a video or written presentation. The interactive assignments are coded with the week number and a letter corresponding with the number of assignments for that week. For example, the first assignment for week 1 is 1A. The interactive assignment for 4 is 4A, that is for the first assignment of the week. And 4B is the second assignment for week number 4. After carefully watching each video presentation, there will be a few questions and/or projects to create an interactive environment. The purpose is to present course content and interactive material that will help the student apply the material under consideration and to connect with the professor. Now here is a note. A 1 or 2 sentence response to a question is not adequate and will be judged insufficient as an answer. Develop your response in the form of 1 or more paragraphs. And believe it or not, I've had a few students to turn in 1-sentence responses to an interactive project. Then you'll also, want to maintain a ministry log. A ministry log is a report of the student's ministry activity for the previous week. Beginning on week number 4, students will submit by email a ministry log to the professor of record, that's me, and to your field supervisor. This log is due 1 week in advance of the scheduled meetings with your field supervisor. For example, log 1 is emailed on week 4, but discussion of that log is delayed until week 5. Submitting the document early allows the field supervisor to be prepared for the meeting. The field supervisor may use this document as one means of initiating a discussion with the student about work from the previous week. Follow your syllabus on page 11 for submission dates. If you need to review what it means to write a ministry log, you can do that by simply clicking on to the link that is supplied. H. Objectives and Learning Covenant. The Learning Covenant is a kind of contract for the student over the span of the quarter. Students will negotiate the covenant with the field supervisor at their first meeting on week 4. An example of a learning contract is found in Appendix number 2. Details for this assignment can be obtained by clicking the link associated with week 3 entitled Developing Objectives and a Learning Covenant. You are not required to watch this video, but it might help to review, or if you're a new student, it might help you learn how to develop objectives and a learning covenant. And then on page number 5, textbook study questions. There will be questions due the same week the chapters are assigned for reading. Students should type the question and answer before submission through Moodle. Study questions can be submitted as late as 11:55 p.m. the Saturday of assignment week. Then you notice the Biblical Disc Report, Personality Style Reflection Paper. DISC is a personal assessment tool used to improve work productivity, teamwork, and communication. You will be asked to complete a series of questions that produce a detailed report about your personality and behavior. That report will have 2 parts. Part 1. Take the Biblical Disc Personality Style after you have watched PowerPoint Lecture 3A and obtained your results from the report. See page 5 for a link to purchase the profile. Part 2 is write a 2 to 4 page reflection paper identifying your personality traits as revealed from the inventory. In the paper, respond to the following. What biblical personalities were described? Do you agree with the results? Why or why not? Specifically, how can you use this information at this time? How might you use the results in the future? At the end of this quarter, you will do a self-evaluation or a paper entitled, What I Learned from Supervision. Papers are to be submitted through Moodle. The paper should be composed of 9 sections, and I'd love to see each of these 9 sections used as a header, and then you develop the information underneath the heading. You'll notice the 9 headings. I will not take time to read them, but you will notice them there. Then L is verbatim. This quarter I want to introduce you to a verbatim report. What is a verbatim report? It's a carefully organized report of a conversation that occurred during any ministry event of your choosing. It can be any ministry opportunity that you express care or help for another person. It certainly could be an evangelistic call. It could be a hospital call, a nursing home call, or just simply a counseling opportunity. The verbatim report includes a transcript of the conversation which occurred during the event. It is important to write the dialogue as soon after the ministry event as possible. A satisfactory verbatim report has 4 major sections: an introduction, a verbatim transcript, an evaluation, and then theological reflection. All 4 of these major sections should be given adequate time in presenting this verbatim. Now, what do you do? Well, have a ministry conversation within the context of your placement and write a verbatim report of that conversation. Class presentation of a verbatim for peer evaluation is optional, but will count toward extra credit if you decide to do that. You will find guidelines in terms of how to write your verbatim on pages 5, 6, 7, and concluding on page number 8 of your syllabus. I want to encourage you to follow through with this model. If you will follow it to the T, you will make a very good grade. Theological reflection is the most important part of this assignment. Now, you'll notice the grading scale that's before you on page number 8. It's the typical grading scale for Fruitland. You'll notice that every assignment has a value of 10%. You'll notice the grading procedures. You'll also notice that I give feedback on every written assignment that you turn in. I will provide comments, and hopefully they will help you understand what my requirements for a paper are and how to improve on your next submission. So it's important for you to read every message that I send to you. Special note, on page number 9, each student is responsible for completing all assignments. Notice late submission of work. Assignments turned in late will be assessed a substantial penalty, that is 20%, unless the reason for the late submission is due to a documented emergency. A documented emergency means the instructor will be notified prior to the due date of the assignment, preferably by email. Now you notice the policies for the class. I'll ask you just to read those. And then also on page number 10 you will see writing guidelines. I would simply point out that I prefer Times New Roman fonts and using 12 point. You'll notice the other requirements that are there. Now if you would, look on page number 11. On the left-hand column, you're going to find the date and the week corresponding to the week of the quarter. And then across the top, you will see topics and PowerPoint lectures, tasks you'll need to complete, and assignment due dates. Now you'll notice that throughout the grid you will have a smiley face that is associated with assigned papers that you might want to discuss with your field supervisor. You don't have to use these as topics for discussion, but it would certainly be helpful. I've mentioned before, and let me mention again, how important it is for you to nail down your supervisor this week. Be sure that you know who your supervisor is going to be and where your placement will be, and communicate that to me no later than week number 2. You'll find also, beginning on page number 12, the appendix for this class. You'll find 8 of these. These appendices will help you in understanding what your assignments are. Now also on the front of Moodle you will find a handbook for field supervisors. Please, again, I've mentioned this before, but please be sure that you print it out in color and give a copy to your field supervisor. This seems like an awful lot of work. I'm sure that you are almost overwhelmed by the quantity of work that's required. However, I would just encourage you to do it one step at a time and you will be fine. Your success in this class is very important to me, and I want you to know that I will do everything possible to help you. All you need to do is let me know how I can assist you, and we will move forward together in completing this class. So So don't be overwhelmed with the amount of work. You're going to do it. I'm praying that God will use this class to help you become an even more effective minister for the Lord Jesus Christ. You are a blessing, and God is going to use you. This class, I pray, will be one of those points you'll look back upon and say, I'm thankful for that supervised ministry because it has launched me into my ministry more fully equipped. God bless you as you move forward through this quarter. I'm praying for you.